Hey guys, welcome back to this channel. I hope you guys had a great weekend. Today I'm going to be going over the United States Women's National Team versus Spain in the second game of the She Believes Cup. I'm going to give you guys my thoughts, my analysis, player-by-player breakdown, play-by-play breakdown, basically just my thoughts about the game and what to improve on going forward. As always, timestamps, links to different articles, how to watch, where to watch, roster, etc. All that's down below. Without further ado, let's get into the video. The U.S. Women's National Team came out in their typical 4-3-3. They made a handful of changes from the game versus England. The back four is Crystal Dunn, Becky Sauerbrunn, Abby Dahlkemper, and Emily Sonnet. Three in the midfield is Samantha Mewis, Julie Ertz, and Rose Lavelle. Up top is Megan Rapinoe, Carli Lloyd, and Lynn Williams. And in goal is Alissa. Spain starting lineup. They came out in a 4-2-3-1. Again, they made a handful of changes from the game that they played the first game against Japan. They started Lucia Garcia, who had a brace against Japan. I think overall this is a pretty decent lineup for them. Sam Mewis gets the ball and she plays a nice through ball forward to Megan Rapinoe, who had made a great run. I feel like there she should have taken her shot, but she kept going and she ended up getting the shot here, but it was right at the keeper, so nothing was made of it. I don't think that was a foul, and even if it was, the ref should have kept the play going for the advantage, so that was bad on their end. But it resulted in a free kick, and Carli should have used her feet. I don't know why she tried to use her face. Here, Rose got a good opportunity to go forward. Some great skill, played a nice ball to Pino, who played it one time in, and Carli just was a little late in her run. Here's another example why I don't think Pino should take free kicks. I mean, oof. Here, Lucia Garcia got an opportunity. I felt like she hesitated, could have played it wide and kept the play going, but it was still a good shot from them. Great ball by Mappy Leone up top. I feel like that should have been passed there, but she kept going with the skill. And Alexia Putellas just tried to flick it into Jenny Hermoso, but it just didn't work. Here's one of our corner opportunities. Again, I don't know how Lynn didn't tap that in, but it happened so fast. Alissa did a great job coming off her line then. This was one of Spain's other opportunities. Jenny Hermoso headed the ball right off the post. We definitely were saved there. And then Julie, on the same play, dribbles it all the way down the field and into Lynn Williams, who made a nice run. And this pass by Lynn Williams was so good. But the touch by Carli just was way too big, and so it ended up going into the keeper's arms. But still, this was great work from the U.S. Here, Lynn did a good job beating her defender 1v1, but she didn't get her head up to realize no one was making a run, and her cross just went right to the keeper. Here, Lucia Garcia, I feel like she should have done better with that, but she did a great job getting the ball back, and the shot was just steered wide. This is why I love Julie Ertz. She does a great job at winning the ball back, and then continues her run forward, plays it wide to Pino, who I feel like could have played it on the ground along the 6 to Lavelle, but still, I don't think that cross was good enough. It didn't really test the keeper enough. Rose did a great job here defending, but then she's a little clumsy in this challenge right here. This gives Spain a free kick opportunity, which you can't really see very well on the stream, but I found this video on Twitter, and it's a clear handball by Emily Sonnet. Spain should have gotten a free kick. I don't know why they didn't get a penalty kick there. The referees have been kind of bad this entire tournament. It was a great shot by Alexia Putellas, just wasn't, promising enough to scare Alissa. Carli Lloyd dribbles inline. Nice cross, but Spain does a good job at defending that. And then Megan Rapinoe does the fall on the ball trick, trying to get the free kick, and then gets called for that. That was kind of funny. Rose and Pino do a good job of working the ball quickly, and then Carli just doesn't connect on that solidly enough just to get the shot off, but still it was a good attempt by our side. This was in the second half, and this was when we could truly see how fast Lynn Williams was. In my opinion, this was one of her best plays of the game. She got her head up, played the ball across the 6, and there was just no one there making a run. And I felt like I would have liked to see Julie maybe take a shot there, but, it's okay. It ended up working out. Here was Lavelle. That was her shot. It was just a little high. Let me know if you guys think that was a penalty kick, because I've watched it a handful of times and I don't know what I think. I haven't seen people talk about that, so I'm not sure. Again, this was another opportunity where we can see Lynn's speed. And again, she does a great job at cutting back, getting her head up, realizing she had options, played it back to Rose, who I thought she was going to take a shot. Again, I think Julie could have shot it there. I'd love to see her take that, but Sam does it anyway. Fantastic shot on her end. And then Torresia just pulls it just a little bit wide. could have been such a good opportunity for them. Lynn Williams does a good job defensively, gets the ball back, and again, she is already about 5 yards behind her defender, but decides to try to take her in a 1v1, and it just doesn't work. That was so close. I thought Dahlkemper was going to head that in. This is an example of our zone marking on the corners. I hate it. I hate how there's no front post or back post markers. And as you can see from this play here, they get ahead on it. I just don't like zone because it doesn't put a body on a player, and I feel like it just is too up in the air and doesn't leave enough room for communication. This was great play by Matthew Leone, and then her teammate kind of screws her there. I think that was a soft challenge, but we ended up getting a free kick. Kristen Press plays a fantastic ball in, and Julie does what she does best, heads it in, and we're up 1-0 in the 87th minute.
The mentality of this team is what sets us apart from our opponents. Spain was able to compete with us throughout the entire game, but the United States never gives up. No matter what the scoreline is, they're going to always compete. The last 10 minutes of the game, you could see Spain start to take their foot off the gas, and that allowed the United States to capitalize. I think this game was one of those where it was so evenly matched up. Spain should have had a penalty kick. They had a header that went off the post, but we also had plenty of opportunities we should have scored as well. We knew going into this game that we wouldn't have the majority of the possession, and knowing this, that meant we needed to be more patient with the ball when we had it on our feet, and I think that's something we didn't do. You could see plenty of times when we worked so hard to get the ball back and we would be more direct instead of being more patient. There's always a time to be direct. That's not a bad thing, but I think when it becomes an every type of play sort of deal, that's when it becomes negative for the team, because when you win the ball, especially when you're defending the entire game, you want to be able to stop the pace of the opponent and to just settle down. We gave the ball away way too much after we spent so much time working to get it back. We also knew that since they were going to have the ball most of the game, we needed to put away our opportunities, and we didn't do that either. Overall, I just think we didn't necessarily create enough solid opportunities for ourselves. We were uneven in our press, and I think that's kind of where Spain was able to demolish us the most. Vlatko talked about this after the game, and I'll put a clip up, but basically he said that Spain was doing such a good job at pressing and keeping the ball that it was throwing our lines of press off. I understand that. To get an entire team on the same page is really hard, especially when you make changes. What you'd notice is players like Carli Lloyd would press really hard, Lynn Williams would kind of press, and Rapinoe would just stand there. And that unevenness is allowing Spain to just pass right around us. As a unit, we needed to be more compact. We needed to have less space in between all three lines, and we didn't do that. And that allowed Spain to play right through us. For example, there was one time where Carli pressed the ball and Matthew Leone literally just passed the ball right around her because she was the only one pressing. That's not necessarily a bad thing. When Carli Lloyd makes her decision to press forward, every single person on the field needs to follow suit. Rose needs to step harder, Sam needs to step harder, Lynn needs to step harder, Rapinoe has to step harder. With the uneven press, it completely stretches our lines and creates gaps and pockets of space to where Spain can play through us and play around us. And it's like we're running around with like a chicken with their head cut off because we have no organization. And Spain does a great job of doing that. That's what they want to do. They want to pull their opponents out of their game plan, pull them out of their organization, and use that to their advantage. And I think we fell into their trap. I hate the narrative that forwards don't defend. They start the tempo and the mindset of the type of defending you're going to do as a team. Carli steps so hard. She needs players around her who are going to do the same. I thought Lynn did a great job of stepping and doing her part, but Megan Rapinoe didn't. And there are plenty of opportunities where Megan Rapinoe did not step in any way, and it allowed them to play around her. I think when you have Tobin, Kristen, and Carli up top, or even Tobin, Kristen, and Lynn up top, they're more on the same page, because I feel like Tobin and Kristen they have a lot of chemistry on the field, and they press at the same time. And I think that type of communication is what Rapinoe and Lynn Williams lacked at the same time. Obviously, Vlatko didn't put out his best starting lineup, and this is a great tournament to test your players. Obviously, we want to win, we want to get results, and we want to play pretty soccer, but at the end of the day, it's about making sure that our players are ready for the Olympics, because that's what Vlatko's building on, and Vlatko has to know what he's dealing with, and it gave Lynn Williams a huge opportunity to show what she's made of, and it gave Rapinoe more time to come back from whatever injury she's nursing, and I think it just showed in general that formation with those three up top did not work at all. And you know what? That's okay. We have to test things out, and we have to see what works, and that clearly didn't work. Near post corners are great. I have no complaints about those. But when you do it every single time, and there was one time in the first half where it almost worked, but that was literally it. Every other time it didn't work. Our opponents, all they have to do is watch us play and be like, oh, they're going to do a near post corner and put like 2 people on Ertz. Like, that's so easy to defend. I'd like to see more creativity in our corner kick options, especially when we have Sam Mewis on the field, who is so much taller than everybody else. Why not loft it into the box a little past the 6 so the keeper can't get it and see what happens? In my opinion, I think that's the best option because corners are always hit or miss. They're not really a great scoring opportunity, but I think the rebounds are one of the better opportunities, and especially with a near post corner, you don't get a lot of options for a rebound. Overall, I don't think we played good. As a unit, we did not move in cohesion. All 3 lines were not connected, and obviously Julie Ertz's goal was fantastic and Kristen's service was amazing, but I think Vlatko should have made his subs a little sooner, maybe around the 60th minute, but again, at the end of the day, I don't think he put out his best lineup. He just has to test his options, but this was definitely not the best game I've seen this team play. It gave us plenty of things to learn from, plenty of things to work on, even though it wasn't necessarily the prettiest thing I've ever seen. We got the job done, we got the result, and now we can learn from what we've done and go forward from there. I think Julie was the best player on the field, on and off the ball. She's a workhorse. She's the glue of this team. There's not enough words to explain the type of player she is to this team, how important she is to us. She sets the tempo for this team. She's so intense. The ball will go out of bounds, and she will race to get it and throw it back in, whereas some other players will just take their time. She never gave up the entire game, and she just kept going 100%, and that header was so spot on, and she's so deserving of that goal because she spent the entire game working her ass off. You know, she's a fantastic player, and I'm so excited to see what she does going forward. I don't think Carli had a bad game. She had a handful of opportunities to score, but they just didn't connect. Obviously, we didn't see her set up players in this game, but I don't feel like she had a lot of opportunities to do that. But her press off the ball was perfect. I think there were a handful of moments where she stepped maybe too hard and they were able to play around. Clearly, you could see she was trying, and I like that about her, especially with the 2 up top she was paired with. There just wasn't enough chemistry for the 3 of them to make something work. So I think despite that, she had a good game. I think going forward, again, she needs to start with Tobin and Kristen, in my opinion, and I think when she has players who can set her up like that, we can see more out of her. But overall, I think she had a good game. People rave about her speed all the time, especially on Twitter, but I don't think people realize that you can be fast, but if you don't have technical ability on the ball, then there's no point. You know, this is not a track meet, this is a soccer game. I think she did a good job at setting people up. Don't get me wrong, I think that was the best aspect of her game. I think she did a good job defensively. Her stats compared to Megan Rapinoe, she was night and day. She tried to create opportunities, she tried to set players up, she tried to drive forward and score. And I think she's close, she just needs help from players around her. And so I think, again, sort of like a Carli Lloyd, if we start her and Lynn, both with Kristen or Tobin or somebody else up top, then, you know, she can be a better option. But other than that, I think she did a pretty good job. Sam Mewis and Lindsey Horan has been like a huge discussion for a while. And personally, I think Lindsey Horan is the better option currently. Sam Mewis was given the nod this game, and I don't really think she was it. I don't think Sam Mewis is as possessive-minded as a Lindsey Horan, for example. There were a handful of times when Sam Mewis would get the ball, and her first thought was direct over top. And maybe that's coached. Maybe that's what Vlatko wants, or maybe that's just her style of play. I don't know. I think defensively, she didn't put in as much of a shift as the other midfielders did. For example, Julie Ertz had plenty of duels. So did Rose Lavelle. I think Sam kind of disappeared. She had a great shot. I just don't think overall, consistently, you saw enough of her through the game. If we're going to play direct over the top, start Sam Mewis because she'll play those balls. But I think if we're trying to be compact and organized and possess the ball, I think Lindsey Horan is the better option in my opinion. Let me know what you guys think down below about those two, who you think should start and why. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts about that. Rose Lavelle. Oh, Rose. I felt like the first 10 minutes of the game, she was so explosive, and then she disappeared. And then the second half, the first 10 minutes, she was so explosive, and then she disappeared. Thing is especially when you're playing a team who is going to have most of the possession, I'm not expecting you to be on the ball, but I felt like we didn't see her enough. She had a handful of good shots, she had a lot of good dribbling runs, but I think we need to see more of that. From Rose, I just want to see more consistency. Megan Rapinoe. My issue with Megan Rapinoe is her lack of defending. I feel like you see every other player on the field working their heart out to get behind the ball and to defend, and I think with Pino you just don't see that. I have so many examples of when she didn't press or even step in any way. There was one where it almost actually led to a goal. Jenny Hermoso's header went off the post, but Pino barely even stepped to that. Offensively, I don't think she was very sharp either. Her decision making in the final third wasn't very strong in my opinion. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Pino. I know Julie Foudy said she was nursing a minor injury, but I just think in general, I want to see more effort from her, and I just want to see more creativity on her end, and I feel like we haven't seen that the past couple of games, so hopefully when she gets more minutes, she can regain her form and get back to the player we saw at the World Cup. Overall, like I said, I don't think we had the best game, but I think it gave us a lot of points and tips that we can learn from and grow on, which is what you want to get out of a She Believes Cup tournament. And so I'm looking forward to see what Vlatko does after this result and how he can translate this game and what we can learn from it into the next game. As always, if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, comment down below, let me know what you think. If you liked the video, consider subscribing because I'll be making more videos. Alright, that's all I have to say. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.